Good morning, everyone. Yes, you can finally sit. It is the longest gospel of the year, and it is the gospel. What we hear in the Passion is really the essence of the good news. It is what makes us Christians. It is the heart of God. This is the good news we just heard. We profess that God is omnipotent, all-powerful. Yet we begin a week in which our Lord shows that he is weak. Even today, as he enters into Jerusalem, he purposely, if you will, sets aside his power as God and becomes weak for the sake of our salvation. As he's preparing to enter into Jerusalem, he asks his disciples to find him a way into the city. Go, find a donkey. Bring him back so that I might ride a donkey into the city. And if anyone asks you what you are doing, simply say, the Master has need of it. What a beautiful line, isn't it? The Master has need of it. Look at how our God has lowered himself so much, has become weak for our salvation, has come in need of a donkey. In ancient times, the military commanders, of course, would enter into battle on the most efficient beast they could find for war, a strong, fast, and powerful war horse. But after the battle was won, a victorious general would parade into the city riding on, you guessed it, a donkey. A donkey is strong. A donkey is sturdy, committed, obedient, available. No one usually notices a donkey's work. They are usually covered and not seen. And when their task is over, they return to their owner. A donkey is a humble beast of burden, but a sign of the humility of God. Jesus enters into his battle not on the powerful war horse, but on a humble beast. St. Paul tells us in our second reading that God has so humbled himself, that he so emptied himself, taking the form of a slave, Paul says. He humbled himself, becoming obedient to the point of death, even death on the cross. This week, our God is weak. As Mother Teresa once said, the most powerful force in the universe is the humility of God. My brothers and sisters, God is going to be effective in our world. He's going to be able to enter into our world with our help and through our humility. We must then become beasts of burden, if you will, humble donkeys, to carry the Lord into the city, into the world, so that his passion and death and resurrection can be received and experienced and lived by the world. Humility is a virtue which essentially is the awareness of our position before God. It helps temper our desire for earthly glory and points us toward heavenly glory. Humility is not accepted by our world today. We place such a great emphasis on what we call the self-made man that wants to be a star on television, like American Idol. We want to be our own reality show. The limelight must be on the self. Yet that is not the way of God. That is not what he needs. The Master is in need of humble servants. Humility knows clearly our own strengths and weaknesses and acts with a sense of complete self-service and dependency upon God. When we're truly humble, it's then that we'll be happy. It's then that we'll be obedient and chaste and not ashamed to begin again if we've fallen. When we are humble, we are much more understanding toward others, affable, generous. In a word, we are more like Christ. My brothers and sisters, today we begin the holiest of weeks in which we will see God become weak for our salvation. The disciples eventually do explain to others that the Master has in need of this donkey. As you and I pass through the crucible of Christ's suffering and death, and then next Sunday rejoice in his resurrection, remember to be a donkey. The Master needs you and me to carry him into the world with a life of humility.